Hello and welcome to a Borborygmi tutorial. We're going to create an account here. Creating an account involves entering your email, your password. You want to choose an email that you can authenticate because authentication is part of the process of opening up the website and gaining access to the video game. Put in a name. This information is simply recognize whether or not you are a real person, and if you are a real person, it helps us find funding for the game for the fact that there are real people signing up for our website. If you have not received in your spam folder or in your normal email a correspondence, then give a feedback form here and submit an inquiry as to why that is the case, and we will get back to you very abruptly. The email to contact us, email borborygmi@gmail.com, so you can copy that to your clipboard. Supposing you have already created an account, you can log in, and it'll take a moment for it to reset, and then it should show you the cinematic. Click on the cinematic to get started here. Now you can type in just a 5-letter example, and then you want to type in an example at gmail.com or any email service.com. Create. Now I'm going to type in example. I'm not going to give my email. I'm going to give the username that I provided, and then we're going to hit play. So here's a disclaimer saying that we have vermin in our midst, or go and change the volume setting to your liking. You can go to game review and you can go to new game. We're going to go to new game, and then we're going to go to game review later. Game review gives you the ability to review the questions that you've seen before, including flagged questions. So you go to new game, you notice there's no characters here to play. Choose a character here, and you want to choose an exam. If you are preparing for the USMLE licensing exam, step 1, you want to do level 1, step 2, and step 3. If you choose hardcore mode, you can choose to take that off, at which point when your character dies, you'll still be able to use it. The same hit points that you've seen before. If it dies, it'll have full health. If you hit hardcore mode, when the player dies, you will no longer be able to play that character. You'll lose all your items. So let's see. So now I have a character. His name's Like, Comment, and Sub. He's level 1. He's module 1, meaning that's the exam that you're taking. Now, if you want to play multiplayer, what you can do is you can hit the multiplayer button and hit Find Match. Somebody else will show up here. When the timer starts, that's going to be, for now, it's going to be a 60-second timer countdown. I'm sorry for the wait, but it gives you time to find other players who want to join with you. So you can have as many as 4 players in one game, and I'll have a tutorial for the multiplayer. This is just for a single player. You'd eventually be able to press a button to start the game. 2 players or 3 players or 4 players. Eventually you'll be able to add other players as friends, and then you'll be able to chat with them in private messaging. Single player, let's go to solo adventure. So a few things to notice. You have your answer question button. This allows you to begin answering vignette style questions. This green outside of the answer questions, I want you to pay attention to that while I use some action points here on the mini-map. Action points are points used to, you should think of them as slivers in time playing the game. So you only have time playing the game if you have answered questions quickly, accurately, and with high confidence. So I'll explain how that works in a moment. I'll click on the mini-map and it'll show me that there's a plane. Basically, this mini-map tells me where my character is looking and what he's paying attention to, or she is paying attention to. So if I click on B4, which is this tile here, I see the plane, which is a description of the geographical location. If I were to click over here, you see Fog of War, meaning that I'm unable to see that tile on the mini-map. So when I look over there, it's too far away or it's obscured by what have you. I'm not able to see. As I click on different tiles, it is exhausting my viewer points, which is to say, if I look over here, it's going to close another eyeball. If I look over here, it's going to close another eyeball. Now, what you'll notice is my action points have just decreased over here. Why is that? It's because it takes a certain amount of time to look around the map. So as a consequence of looking around the map, I have wasted game time, and these action points have been exhausted. So if I click another place, I have used another action point, And now all of my eyeballs are open. So I have 3 slots to click the map, the mini map, to choose where I'm going to do an action. So if I click here, an eyeball closes again. But this time I'm going to try to move. So how do I move? I go over here and I see where I can move. So the tile that I've currently selected on C5, right here, is currently selected, and I can hit the move button. This is the S key. You can see that the hotkeys are listed in the bottom left corner of each of these slots. So if I want to move, I can hit the S key, and you see how this icon representing my character on the mini-map has moved from B5 to C5. So I've moved 1 space over to C5, and you can see how the parallax is. So let's do that again, because we're going to look at the action points being exhausted. Okay, and you can see how my viewer points are being refreshed because I moved. So if you move, your viewer points go back up to allow you to look around again 3 times, because you've just exhausted an action point. You now have an action point to spare, basically, to use to look around again. So you can play around with that way. You look around at 2 tiles, you move. You look around at 2 tiles, you move, so that you can continuously be looking around each turn instead of just using action points.